Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Good Tuesday, the day where we cover all the good news that's been happening today and for the last week or so. It is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of planet Earth podcast, where we look at the news 10 to 15 minutes before we start without any caffeine in our bodies. Let's check out those headlines. Today on Before Coffee, 9-year-old sells lemonade to help pay for his dad's kidney surgery, and Pompeii archaeologists uncovered tragic final moments of 2 victims of Mount Vesuvius eruption.
More good news on Good Tuesday. Doggy bags are packed with seeds to help rewild the nature reserve in England, and what goes around comes around. Donald Trump campaign was hacked.
Beta thalassemia. First gene editing therapy could cure the disorder.
And we'll talk about 6 fruits and vegetables that are way more hydrating than we thought.
Joost Klein and EBU respond to Eurovision investigation being dropped.
And it's National Filet Mignon Day on August 13th, 2024. And Before Coffee, the new improved Before Coffee. That's right. We've upped our game, so up yours.
Okie dokie, our way through these first 2 Good Newsday story. I know the Vesuvian one didn't sound like good news, but it's always good news for me to find out what happened in the past. Archaeologists' work is never done. But first, let's talk about paying for your dad's kidney surgery with a lemonade stand. 9-year-old Forrest Gomez is making a name for himself in his Phoenix neighborhood. This is by one admin on 98.8 Baltimore, or sorry, 97.9 Baltimore. But it's called 98 Rock, the website. Whatever. And this happened yesterday on August 12th. He was out again last week selling lemonade. This lemonade stand, however, has a special purpose. This is for my dad's kidney transplant, he told KPNX. At just 29, Forrest's father, Jorge, is in need of a new kidney. Oh, that's not good. 29? We were lying down one night and he asked me if he sold all his toys, would it be enough for my transplant? I told him that he didn't have to do that, but we can figure something out to raise money. Jorge Gomez told the station. He's always wanted to do a lemonade stand, so he's like, what about if we do a lemonade stand? Jorge goes in for dialysis 3 times every week. He says that due to his immigration status, he must find a living donor and pay for the transplant surgery on his own. Surgery is $450,000 he said. If I can't find a living donor, it's a little over $1 million. In addition to the money raised by Forrest's lemonade stand, Jorge paints homes before his dialysis treatment. And I was down, I was depressed, and I was looking around, and my son came to me and we were talking. It just clicked. What am I doing? I need to get out of bed, Jorge said. I need to do something with my life because he's watching me, and he's been watching me give up. He's looking up to me now. So now I get up every morning for him. Every day is for him. Jorge was first diagnosed with kidney failure when he was 18. Last year, doctors also discovered he was dealing with heart failure. Despite the odds, Jorge is still pursuing medical treatment and hopes he can raise enough money to pay for future care. And so go down to Phoenix and go to the lemonade stand, I guess, and buy some. I mean, it looks good. It looks like it has different flavors. He has more of a limeade, or of like a fruit punch lemonade going on, and those huge Gatorade, whatever buckets, if you call those, coolers. Then let's go on to our story about archaeologists. This is by Theo Ferrant and AP on Euronews Culture. Or sorry, Euroculture. 2 skeletons were discovered in a cubicle, likely a bedroom, which had been sealed off by volcanic ash and lava, trapping them and leading to their death. 2 victims of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD were found in recent archaeological excavations of Pompeii. They were identified as a man and a woman. The latter was found on a bed holding a small treasure of gold, bronze, and silver coins, as well as some precious jewelry, including gold and pearl earrings. 2 were found in a cubicle, which is thought to be a bedroom, according to Pompeii Archaeological Park. The cubicle was connected to a grandly decorated saloon and found behind a previously discovered shrine. It is a great restoration site and a secured site that gives us really valuable information about the last moments of people's lives in the eruption of 79 AD. The choices they made, what to bring, and where they take refuge, said Pompeii Archaeological Park Director Gabriel Zuchtrichel. And there's some photos of some skeletons. I should say fossils. It's not their skeletons. It's the fossilized remains of their skeletons. Where, yeah, one's laying on a bed. One's, I guess, fell over as he's on his stomach. The prints left in the ash have allowed the archaeological park to understand the actions taken by two individuals who were facing their last moments, reconstructing the scenario and the room furnishings. Experts speculate that the victim took refuge in the cubicle while waiting for the ash and lava to stop. They said while the pumice filled the next door living room, the bedroom remained clear as its windows were closed. However, the volcanic rock and dust blocked them from opening the door, preventing them from escaping, and they eventually died due to the incoming lava. I think they also would have died from the absence of breathing, because I think that room would have been closed off completely. So, I know it doesn't sound like good news, but it's good news in the sense of it's really hard to find real, complete fossils in Pompeii. A lot of them are just the encasings of people, but if you break them open, there's nothing in there, I guess. And just interesting to divulge into the more of what happened on that day that archaeologists kind of live for, discovering what really happened, what was going on with these individual people. And this is the only way they can be remembered now, is being discovered. So there's my two stories. Go buy some lemonade. On to yours.
Alrighty. Okay, so this is not necessarily good news, but I consider Schadenfreude, or Schadenfreude, however you pronounce it.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. I think there's an E pronounced.
The E is not pronounced.
I just did the pronunciation guide. Now the pronunciation guide says it is. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Schadenfreude.
You're in English, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Anyway, it's the good feeling you get from somebody else's bad fortune. So, Donald Trump's 2024 campaign says emails were hacked. This is from Maya Yang of The Guardian, but she got it from Politico, who has a longer story. And ProPublica, which has an even longer story, which I sent you the link. You could probably put it on the video. The link to the ProPublica story, which has even more in-depth what the hackers leaked, because the Trump campaign denied this hack was happening in July, but they had to stop denying it when all these videos got released, and the hackers started sending reports to Politico, another media outlet. Campaign spokesman Stephen Chung released a statement about the alleged hack following reports from Politico that it had begun receiving emails from an anonymous account with internal documents from the campaign. Of course, famously, Donald Trump in 2016 told the Russians, "Hey, Russians, you should hack Hillary Clinton's emails. You should hack all government officials' emails," which, again, is espionage. But Trump wanted this to happen. Now it's happening to him, and it got all of his emails, at least up to a certain point. These documents, this is this Chung guy again. These documents were obtained legally from foreign sources hostile to the United States, intended to interfere with the 2024 election, and sow chaos throughout the democratic process. Wow, sucks for you. On Friday, a new report from Microsoft, now Chung's blaming Iran. On Friday, a report from Microsoft on Iranian hackers broke into the account of a high-ranking official on the U.S. presidential campaign in June 2024, which coincides with the close timing of Trump's selection of vice president. Not really. Doesn't coincide with it at all. He did that in July, so it might not be Iran. He added the Iranian, some more propaganda. The campaign cited a Microsoft report released on Friday about alleged hackers with ties to the Iranian government who sent a spear phishing email in June to a high-ranking official on a presidential campaign from the compromised email account of former senior advisor. Microsoft did not disclose details on the official or senior advisor's identity or the hack's origin. So this guy's just guessing. So he's just blaming Iran because it's a political move to blame Iran. There was a Pakistani national arrested for attempted assassination plot. According to criminal complaint, 46-year-old Asif Merchant tried to recruit people in the U.S. to carry out the plot in retaliation for the U.S.'s 2020 killing of Qasem Soleimani, Iran's Revolutionary Guard top commander. So the good news is Trump got nailed by the same crap that he was pushing and continues to push for other countries to do to Democrats. When they do it to him, it's like, oh my God! So watching Trump squirm is always good news. And I don't know, like I said, I posted a link. I sent you a link to the ProPublica article, which talks about the videos that were leaked. Yes, there's a bunch of Project 2025 videos, training videos on how to circumvent the people who are appointed above you are the people that are the people that are career people. You know, those are people in the government that are career people. They have no political agenda. They're just doing their job. Yeah. Project 25 is going to put political appointees that can't do anything, that have no qualifications other than to make things run slowly, to make things run for their rich buddies, and to politicize every single decision government makes. It's a horrible, horrible plan. And ProPublica has the actual training videos that you can watch. So they really got hacked this time. And these people that say 2025 is a red herring, why does Trump have training videos if it's a red herring? His campaign was hacked, and we got the training videos. And anybody can watch them now, at least the ones they got. And other good news, this is about doggies. This is from positive.news. Gavin Haynes. Doggy bags packed with seeds to help rewild nature reserve in England. Equipped with backpacks full of wildflower seeds, dogs in a scheme in England are mimicking an ecological role left vacant by wolves. Yes, England has no wolves. No, they're werewolves. Werewolves of London, we know that, but no wolves. Man's best friend is becoming an ally of nature, too, thanks to a novel rewilding project in England. Furnished with leaky backpacks stuffed with wildflower seeds, dogs are being let loose in the urban nature reserve just outside Lewes. Is that called pronounced Lewis? Lewis or Lewes, east of Sussex. The idea is that they mimic an ecological role vacated by wolves when the latter was driven to extinction in the UK in the 18th century. That's why you got werewolves now. You got killed off the regular wolves, right? They couldn't call the herd of werewolves possibly properly.
You have to find wolves the werewolves first. That's the hard part.
Right. Well, wolves unwittingly collected seeds in their fur and deposited them all over the UK, creating new colonies of plants. Now, Lewis dogs are doing the same thanks to the intuitive run by Railway Land Wildlife Trust and the Wilder Life Rewilding Program. Oh, let me say wild 15 times one sentence. Okay. This has been such a joyous experience, said project manager Dylan Walker, an ecologist. Dog walkers often get bad press while walking in the countryside. We're pleased to tell a story in which dogs and their owners are the stars. It's been a huge success in terms of engaging with the local community, including people who might walk through the reserve, but aren't necessarily knowledgeable about nature. And of course, there's the seed germination, which we're starting to see a little bit of. Now everybody's going to have more hay fever because of all the flowers. Well, there's always something, right? The project was inspired by a similar initiative in Chile in 2019. A couple of sisters lived in an area where a huge forest fire destroyed most of the trees and the understory flora, explained Walker. They had this amazing idea to put packs on their Labradors and let them run through the forest, reseeding the tree species. The seed mix being used in the patch features 23 perennial wildflowers, including early purple orchid and common spotted orchid, as well as the likes of bluebell, primrose, and wood sage. They're mixed with sand, which aids distribution, as well as allowing the team to track where it is being deposited. Dog walkers often get bad press when walking through the countryside, so we're pleased to tell the story which dogs and their owners are the stars. The project was made open to all dog walkers using the space, with Walker's team offering initial training, after which the dog walker could pick up the packs from the reserve headquarters when they visited. We had about 12 dog walkers and their dogs take part of the project this spring, and we intended to run it again in the autumn. He reckons that dogs cover about 4 times more ground than their owners and behave in a way that is more helpful in nature. They're more random, which is what you want. We have a certain way of doing things as human beings. If we're not thinking about it, we tend to be a bit linear. Yeah, you're just going to plant right along the trail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the dog's going to do, too. But, yeah, you can let your dog chase squirrels or whatever.
You can get one of those dogs that just go wild, you know, and they just run away and you never see them again until you whistle.
The idea is catching on. We've had quite a few inquiries from other nature reserves up and down the country who said, this is great, this is the sort of thing we like to do. We're keen to share our experiences. Cressida Murray and her Cocker Spaniel Birdie were among those taking part in the Lewis Project. Birdie ran around spreading seeds like wolves used to do many years ago. It's such a great project to evolve our local community. That is your story on dogs helping replant the forests in England.
We are getting our wildflowers back in England. Good, good.
Oh, and I sent you a video clip too, so I got that done.
Yeah. Oh, you just sent me a link to the website. You didn't send me a link to the article of the video.
But I did send you a video clip.
Yeah, I got that. But I was just like, I can't. You just sent me a link to ProPublica.
Did I?
Yeah, you didn't send me a link to the actual... I mean, I guess it's on the front page right now. So, it's fine. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's go to our next story, which is about some gene editing therapy that could help cure beta thalassemia. This is from James Gallagher on the BBC. Kirthana Balakajan was diagnosed when she was 3 months old and is now studying to be a doctor. The first therapy that uses gene editing is to be offered on the NHS in a revolutionary breakthrough for patients. It will be used as potential cure for the blood disorder beta thalassemia. Stem cells, which make blood, will be extracted, reprogrammed to correct the condition, and returned to the patient's body. It could spare them needing a blood transfusion every 3 to 5 weeks for life. People with beta thalassemia struggle to produce enough hemoglobin, which is the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen around the body. And without oxygen, your body doesn't work. It is a genetic disease that is passed through families and caused by defects in the body's instructions for manufacturing hemoglobin. It can leave people severely tired, weak, short of breath, and also cuts life expectancy. Yeah, you're not getting enough oxygen your entire life. You're probably going to die early. Kirthana Balakchadran, 21, was diagnosed when she was only 3 months old and gets muscle pain and back pain and can have palpitations when walking uphill. The idea of depending on transfusions for quite literally the rest of my life is daunting. I constantly worry about the future, she says. The idea of gene editing is you only need to do it once. How does gene editing work? It relies on a tool called CRISPR, which won the Nobel Peace Prize in Chemistry in 2020. It is essentially, we've talked about this many times on Before Coffee, especially on Good Tuesday Newsday. It is essentially a sat-nav connected to a pair of scissors. One part targets the right section of DNA, and the other part the edit. You might think the technology is being used to repair the genetic defect, but it's actually cuter? It's cuter than that. Okay, it's cuter than that. Instead, it relies on the fact your body makes different types of hemoglobin before and after birth. When we are still in the womb, our bodies use fetal hemoglobin. My contacts are like not focusing on the words, so I can't read. Fetal hemoglobin to pull oxygen out of the mother's bloodstream. Once we are born, a genetic switch is flipped and we start making adult hemoglobin. Crucially, is the only adult form of hemoglobin that is affected by beta thalassemia. So the therapy disables the switch, named BCL11A, so the adult body starts making fetal hemoglobin again. In order to do this, the stem cell that manufactures red blood cell in our spongy bone marrow are harvested. These cells are sent to a lab where the genetic switch is targeted. The next stage is unpleasant and it takes a course of chemotherapy to kill off the old stem cells that were producing broken hemoglobin before the new ones can be put in. And there's a cute little graph of taking some stem cells out of your bone marrow, doing some gene editing, and then putting them back in with the edited cells. Abdul Qadir Akhtar, 28, from the Hempstead, took part in the clinical trials in 2020. He said the treatment was challenging and tough, but since having it, he's been healthier and more active. I have taken up boxing. I can travel more freely now, which is fantastic. I'm eager to embrace life to its fullest. Data shows that out of the 52 patients given the treatment, 49 did not need another blood transfusion for at least a year of monitoring. The approach is so new that long-term effects are still unknown. Kirthana says, with gene therapy, I would potentially have a cure and I'll have to have my 3 weekly transfusions. It would be a life-changing treatment. The National Institute of Health and Care Excellence Medicine's watchdog has approved the therapy after assessing the costs and benefits of what it calls a potential cure. A deal has been struck, which means NHS England is paying less than the official price of £1.6 million per patient. Wow, that's a lot. I guess it's really expensive to get stem cells out of bone marrow. And I guess the technological costs of doing gene editing. It is estimated that 460 people over the age of 12 would be eligible if they wanted the therapy, and will be offered at 7 specialist centers within weeks. Amanda Pritchard, the NHS chief executive, said, "This is a historic moment for people living with beta thalassemia, with a potential cure for those facing this debilitating disorder now available on the NHS." Beta thalassemia mainly affects people of Mediterranean, South Asian, and East Asia, Middle Eastern backgrounds because, as we talked about earlier, it's a genetic disorder, so it's spread out through that kind of gene history. Previously, the only alternative to blood transfusion was stem cell transplants, but this was rare because it required a very close tissue match for the donor, like a brother or sister or maybe even a parent. Casgevy, developed by company Vertex, is the first approved therapy to use CRISPR technology. Romain Maharaj, executive director of the UK Thalassemia Society, said, "We stand on the brink of a revolutionary breakthrough. It's a beacon of hope." Negotiations are still underway to see if the same therapy can be used on NHS for another genetic disease affecting hemoglobin, sickle cell anemia. So, great news for anybody out there with a blood disorder, well, specifically this one, and maybe even future good news for the rest of you. If this one works out so well, maybe all blood disorders can be cured and you don't have to, I don't know, die of sickle cell anemia, because that sounds awful. Sickle cell, of course, is in the name. Your blood cells are not round. They're shaped like sickles, so they don't work as well as a normal blood cell. So you're also just having deficiencies all around. Anemia, of course, is even worse. And it's just awful.
It's made
your
worse
own
by
body
air.
doesn't work properly.
It's made worse by altitude.
For sure. That's my story. Go on to yours.
So you can't move to the mountains. All right. So good news on food. It's very hot. Very many places this time of the year in August. Most of the planet's in summer. Only the southern hemisphere is lucky enough to have winter this time of year.
Well, they're not very cold, to be fair. I think we talked about last week. Australia's winter is non-existent right now because of the climate change.
And you got to get like 30 degrees away from the equator before you even have seasons. So it's usually warm. And you get dehydrated, so drinking water is always recommended, but a lot of times water just runs right through your system, especially if it doesn't have any minerals. And there's 6 fruits and vegetables that are more hydrating than we thought. This is from the takeout.com. So we're just going to list 6, although it might get a little lengthy in the descriptions. We all know the obvious choices for hydrating produce, the fruits and vegetables that are so juicy you practically need a towel to keep your face clean while eating them. We're looking at you, watermelon. And, of course, there's a cucumber, the spa day staple that's basically just crunchy water and a green jacket. But did you know there are plenty of other fruits and vegetables that are sneakily more hydrating than you'd expect? Staying hydrated is a bigger deal than many people think. It's essential for keeping your body running smoothly. Water is a key player in nearly every bodily function, from aiding digestion and flushing out toxins to supporting your immune system. It also influences your mental well-being, helping you sleep better, think clearer, and maintain a balanced mood. In addition to chugging H2O, why not enjoy some of these water-rich foods that keep your hydration on point? You might be surprised by one fruit that's even more hydrating than a watermelon. And here's something that caught us by surprise. There's a vegetable that actually becomes more hydrating when you cook it. How cool is that? Let's explore these hydration heroes and give your body the refreshment it deserves. Strawberries. Strawberries might not be the first fruit you think of for hydration, but surprise, these little red gems are actually just as hydrating as a watermelon with an impressive 92% water content. The beauty of strawberries is that they're always delicious, whether enjoyed on their own or dressed up in a variety of ways. Toss them into a fresh spinach salad with pecans and tea. Why? I just eat them. I don't understand the salad part. I'm sorry. If you want to have some strawberries, just eat them.
Don't ruin them by putting them in a salad. So you're not just eating strawberries. You're also eating some other stuff with it. That's all.
Yeah, okay. I don't think pecans and feta or any of that stuff add anything to the strawberries. You just eat the strawberries. That's just my thing. Or blend them into a strawberry banana smoothie or layer them in a yogurt parfait with crunchy granola. The options are endless and keep your hydration up and your taste buds happy. Just remember, while cooking strawberries might bring up their sweetness, it also reduces their water content and some of their vitamin power. Yeah, some are saying eat them raw. That's the way they're meant to be eaten. The birds eat them that way. The animals eat them that way. You should eat them that way. Plus, they're packed with water and vitamin C. Our number 2 one is tomatoes. By now, most of us are aware that tomatoes are technically a fruit, not a vegetable. Probably because they grow on a vine, right? I guess that's probably what it is. I'm not sure.
Grapes.
If this is news to you, go ahead. Right. Grapes are also a fruit. This is news to you. Go ahead. We'll wait while you Google it. Feeling enlightened. Great. Let's talk tomatoes. I didn't read that very well, but anyway. They are the most hydrating fruit out there with a whopping 94% water content. Yeah, that seems accurate. They're very juicy. I know that. What's awesome about them is how, what's really awesome is how when you squeeze one, it squeezes directly in your eye, just like an orange does. They're designed to do that. What's awesome about that is how easy they are to sneak into meals. Add them to a sandwich, mix fresh ones into guacamole. Enjoy a classic caprese salad. You can even mix them into your homemade salsa. How do you make salsa without tomatoes? Plus there are tons of different tomato varieties you can try. Tomatoes also pack a punch of lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that helps protect your skin from sun damage. While it's no replacement for sunscreen, it's a fantastic ally in your skincare routine. Of course, the thing about tomatoes is for years and years and years, they're an American plant. They were thought to be poisonous, so nobody ate them.
Oh, in Europe, they were thought to be poisonous because they were eating tomatoes on lead plates. And because tomatoes are acidic, they absorb all the lead. So they're like, oh, this tomato killed me. It's like, no, it's the lead plate.
Well, the tomato plant. Well, it's not completely erroneous because the tomato plant itself is poisonous. So don't eat the tomato plant. It will kill you.
It's a branch of nightshade. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Which is definitely poisonous.
Number 3 would be cantaloupe, the cousin of the watermelon.
Sister of the watermelon.
Yeah. Usually watermelon steals the melon spotlight, but it's time to give some well-deserved attention to the often overlooked, yet highly hydrating cantaloupe. With a remarkably 90% water content, cantaloupe might not be quite as hydrating as watermelon, but it still packs a powerful punch. Its natural juiciness makes it feel like you're indulging it in something sweet, healthy, and water-rich all at once. Cantaloupe is in season from June to October. That's a pretty long season, when it's all of its sweetness and juiciness. The classic fruit salad featuring cantaloupe, honeydew, and berries is a timeless favorite, but there are countless other ways to enjoy a versatile melon. Ooh, the versatile melon. Blended in a creamy orange cantaloupe smoothie for a refreshing treat. Or add it to a salad with tomatoes for a surprising flavor combo. Try prosciutto wrapped cantaloupe for savory sweet appetizer.
Oh,
I never
yeah,
thought of trying
man,
that.
that's so good here, especially since I can get like real prosciutto from like, what is it, Italy? Yeah, from Italy. So good.
I like that fake stuff we get here.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know what's real
You're
because
fake. I got you.
I'm not in Italy.
I'm just being a smart ass. For breakfast, create a crunchy yogurt and cantaloupe bowl by cutting out the center of the melon and filling it with yogurt. Why are we doing that for? Oh, and the berries. And put the cantaloupe back in too. Don't leave the cantaloupe out, otherwise you just killed the... remove all the water and everything from the cantaloupe bowl and put in a bunch of other things. Oh, no, that's not even... Also put the melon back in. The yogurt, granola, berries, and the melon. It's both delicious and Instagram worthy. Apples. We were kind of surprised at how hydrating apples are, given their firm and crunchy texture. You wouldn't think they'd be packing 80% water content. They're actually more hydrating than both grapes and cherries. One of the best things about apples is their versatility and their variety of types available, from juicy Honeycrisp to tart Granny Smiths. Apples are easy to take on the go. Just toss one in your bag for a quick snack. Of course, when you bruise them, you gotta eat them because they get really disgusting when you get bruised.
That's because they're 80% water.
Pair them with the peanut butter for... Yeah.
Also, we make apple juice from apples. How is this a surprise?
That's right.
I don't think
Right.
it's that
Apple pie is
surprising.
probably the first thing to go. I'm sorry?
I just don't think it's that surprising that apples have a lot of water. We make apple juice. If you can juice it, I would assume it has a lot of water in it.
I think what they're going for is the high quantity items, and then they got a couple of surprises at the end, right?
Okay.
That's what it is. The high quantity items that I don't think apples would be that surprising, but I didn't write this article. Apple pie is probably the first thing that comes to mind when you think of apples. Of course, you're having that pie. We insist. Just keep in mind that cooking apples reduces the water content. Yeah, it really dries them out. Health-wise, apples are loaded with fiber, which aids in digestion. They're rich in vitamin C, supporting immune systems. Plus, the antioxidants in apples help fight inflammation and support overall health. There's a reason an apple a day is said to keep the doctor away, and apple's water content might have something to do with it. Cauliflower. Yes, cauliflower is the hidden hydration superstar that we definitely didn't see coming. With an incredible 92% water content, it's hard to imagine that cauliflower is just as hydrating as a watermelon, but it is. And here's the kicker. Cauliflower actually becomes more hydrated when cooked. You got to cook it in water.
I can agree with that. It gets really soggy.
If you don't cook it, you don't just cook it in the oven, it becomes more hydrated. It becomes more cooked if you cook it in water, because it absorbs the water. During most heat cooking methods like boiling and steaming. However, it is baked or roasted, it loses water. That's just common sense. As we said, horse sense yesterday. It's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, we always eat like cauliflower curry, right? So yeah, it's super spongy.
Oh yes. It's very absorbent, even though it's already got water 92%. So that's like a camel level of absorbing moisture from the atmosphere. Although moist heat cooking methods leave up popular new preparations for cauliflower like pizza crust. Cauliflower pizza crust is not good. Sorry. Not a big fan. It's delicious when paired as a side of the seasonings like garlic, rosemary, and olive oil without changing the integrity much. You can make creamy cauliflower soup by blending steamed cauliflower with broth, cream, and spices. You can also try cauliflower mash, a smooth variety side dish that pairs well with just about any meal. And enjoy it raw, dipped in hummus, or as a crunchy addition to salads. We dip in the United States ranch dressing. Everything goes in ranch dressing. Like everything. We got a new cat. Put it in ranch dressing. Okay. Beyond hydration, cauliflower shines as a nutritional powerhouse. It's packed with vitamin C and K, essential for immune function and bone health. It's also rich in fiber, aiding digestion and maintaining a healthy gut. Additionally, cauliflower is high in choline, a nutrient vital for brain development and metabolism. However you eat it, cauliflower is delicious. Water-rich addition to your diet that proves you don't have to sacrifice taste for health. And our last one is asparagus. That's right.
Really?
Asparagus. In case you have That's right. Bring along asparagus in case your first one breaks. Asparagus might not make you... That's a dad joke.
Yeah, I got
asparagus might not make you feel... Asparagus might not make your mental list water-rich produce, but these green spears deserve our spot on your plate. Not only does asparagus carry 92% water content, but it also retains the hydration even after cooking. While typically enjoyed cooked, asparagus can also be eaten raw with the right preparation. Shave the spears thinly for a crisp and refreshing addition to salads, or pair them with your favorite dip for a crunchy snack. Raw asparagus has a bright, grassy flavor that's ideal for light summery dishes. Asparagus, as some people call it, really shines when cooked, developing a tender, slightly nutty flavor that pairs beautifully with various ingredients, like when cauliflower use moist heat cooking methods such as steaming or boiling to maintain its high water content. Interestingly, a method of combining boiling and steaming has been considered the best way to cook asparagus for over 2,000 years. Wow, asparagus is classic side dish for salmon and chicken. What's that?
We have the history of asparagus in here. 2,000 years of asparagus.
That's right. Asparagus, classic side dish for salmon and chicken, or is often dressed with lemon oil and spices. It is also excellent when mixed with savory pasta and a flavorful omelet. For something extra special, try wrapping your asparagus in prosciutto. This guy loves himself some prosciutto. Or preparing it with a comforting, creamy asparagus soup. Asparagus is a dietary fiber, great for digestion, loaded with antioxidants like glutathione, which is known for its anti-aging benefits. Whether you enjoy it raw or cooked, asparagus will leave you feeling revitalized. Go ahead and add a healthy dose of green spears to your plate. So there's your story.
What happens if you have too much, though?
Your pea turns
get really smelly
blue.
Pea.
What's that?
When you have too much asparagus, you have really smelly pea.
Well, I don't even think you have to have too much. I think you just have to have a little. I thought you were going to say it turns your pea blue, which I think might be an old wives' tale.
Yeah. Well, it definitely makes my pea smell. I'm just going to confirm that from my own experience. Some TMI, some Tuesday TMI for you. Pretty sure.
It turns a dark yellow or green in large amounts. I thought it turned it blue, but I guess some people could turn it blue. But there's your story. Foods that are full of hydration for you in this summer day where it's probably going to be hot.
Yep, and you don't just want to drink water, you want to get your water from somewhere else. Okay,
a lot of times with water, as they say, water just drains your body of minerals. Go ahead.
Yeah. Osmosis, for anybody out there.
Right.
That's how we get water in our cells. You have to have salty food, and it pulls the water into your cells because your cells are more salty than the water that's floating around. Okay, for our culture segment, we're going to talk about Joost Klein and the investigation into, basically why I got kicked out of the competition being dropped. So it was all for no reason. The European Broadcasting Union and disqualified Dutch contestant Joost Klein. Oh, sorry, this is on Euronews Culture by David Morquand. The European Broadcasting Union and disqualified Dutch contestant Joost Klein have had their say after the police investigation into a backstage incident at the Eurovision final was dropped. Following the news that the Swedish Prosecution Authority dropped the investigation into Dutch Eurovision contestant Joost Klein for alleged inappropriate actions at the Eurovision Song Contest 2024, the European Broadcasting Union released a statement reiterating that their rules had been broken. Yeah, well, he didn't get arrested, but he still broke the rules, okay? So, Jean-Philippe de Tender, EBU Deputy Director General and Director of Media, said, "We're not going to back down and we're going to continue digging ourselves into..." No, I was kidding. That's not what he said. The decision to disqualify Mr. Klein from this year's event was made in strict accordance with Eurovision Song Contest, ESC, rules and governance procedures. After an internal investigation, in parallel, Swedish police decided to open a formal investigation into the conduct of Mr. Klein during the second semi-final, which we understand was closed today without further action. This was an investigation into whether a criminal act was committed, not whether Mr. Klein behaved inappropriately and breached ESC rules and procedures. This new development, therefore, does not have an impact on our decision, which we stand by completely. Yeah, because people, especially giant conglomerate corporations, do not like saying, oh, we made a mistake. No, corporations are perfect. All the decisions they make are correct and perfect. Until you really catch them on something bad, that's when they'll apologize. Like, oh, we didn't know they were having a sex ring in the backstage area. Oh, we're sorry. There was no sex ring in the backstage of Eurovision, as far as I know. On his side, Klein took to Instagram to make his feelings known.
Merely a rumor.
The last couple of months were terrible. Even though I love to perform anywhere around the world, something didn't feel right. Why did we have to wait so long for an answer? Every day I felt insecure whilst I knew the truth. There is no case against me because there never was a case. He continued, we should all take care for each other. We should all support each other and we should all come together. Companies just want to protect their money and they try to use me as a shield. A village against the city. Guess what? Love always wins. Trust the process, even though I lost all hope. He concluded with, we're back now, baby. Album mode! And there was a lot of exclamation marks, and that was all caps. But I didn't want to yell into the
That'd be all caps.
Klein, whose song Little Papa was one of the competitive favorites, was disqualified from the Eurovision Song Contest in 2024 on the day of the grand final in Malmo due to allegations of inappropriate behavior towards a Eurovision photographer backstage. The incident marked the first time that an act had been disqualified after reaching the grand final in the competition's 60-year-old history. Swedish prosecutor dropped the investigation due to lack of evidence, stating the investigation has come to a conclusion that the man made a movement that hit the woman's film camera. The course of events was fast and was perceived differently by the witness of the incident. I have closed the investigation because I cannot prove that the act was capable of causing serious fear, although the man had such intentions. Without a reasonable doubt, no crime was committed. Dutch broadcaster Avro Tros welcomed the Swedish decision, saying that there was no evidence of criminal conduct. From the beginning, we said that this disqualification was unnecessary and disproportionate, and it planned to meet with the organizer about the issue soon. This unjustified disqualification will be central to this conversation, it said in a statement to the Associated Press. Months ago, Klein added the tagline, Eurovision 2024, to his social media channels. This led to speculation he could attempt to participate in the contest again next year in Switzerland. You know, that would be a really funny way to protest Eurovision. You just send the same person every time, I guess, until you win, or you'd lose, I guess. But, are there any comments on this? I'm not sure. I was wondering if there's any Dutch people in the comments who are like, yes! Everything that happened was bad, and now we've got our chance back, but nobody cares. No comments on this article anyways. But it's just good to know that he didn't do a crime. Unfortunately, because it's a private corporation conglomerate competition, right? It's not governmental. They can use whatever reason they want to kick you out. They can say, oh, you know what, I don't like how he looks. Kick him out of the competition, and you can't really stop him. I mean, they lose their integrity as a competition, but I mean, they are, for some people, they have completely lost their integrity as a competition. Involving Israel in it, canceled it for some people. Supposedly, there was a lot of people, there's supposedly people part of the Israel team who were bullying other contestants, and they completely were allowed to do that with no repercussions. And of course,
that's in the UN for you.
Yeah, there was this really toxic pro-Israel, I guess, thing going on, right? It wasn't enough to be neutral. You had to be very aware, like very positive towards Israel, and if you weren't, you were considered an enemy, and you were anti-Israel or whatever. And all Yost did, as we've talked about when this happened on the show before, is he told the photographer to get out of his face. And that didn't happen, and so he made a threatening gesture. You know, like I'm gonna get you. I'm scared. Disqualify this man. So I understand why the photographer in question has identity has been kept secret because I think it was a woman, and even if she did nothing wrong or did something wrong, people will probably send her rape threats for ruining Yost Klein's life or whatever. So I don't want to know who it was. I'm sure she feels bad enough as it is because she got somebody disqualified. Unless that was her plan, then maybe she doesn't feel bad. Maybe she was like, ah, ha, ha. I doubt it was her plan. She probably just reported, Yost Klein just threatened me. Oh, we're just disqualifying him. And she's like, what the fuck? For that? Okay. Get rid of this guy. He threatened the photographer. Anyways, that's my story. Good news for Yost. He's positively back up there. Hope is not lost, and I guess new albums coming out from him soon.
Okay.
On to this day in history.
All right, this day in history. We're back to 1860. Now we go back to 1860. American markswoman Annie Oakley, who starred in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, where she was often called Little Sure Shot, was born. So happy birthday, Annie Oakley, born in 1860. She actually settled in Cambridge, Maryland.
Really?
Now, people know that. Where she spent her declining years, Cambridge, Maryland. 1898, the U.S. Army took control of the Philippine port of Manila during the Spanish-American War. In 1919, famed racehorse Man O' War suffered the only defeat of his career, and he's totally crestfallen. Nope, just kidding. He didn't know. He didn't care. He just went and ate some oats and did what he did every other day.
Made some oats.
The horses know if they win races. I think they might know, but I'm not sure. In 1926, the birthday of Fidel Castro on this day. He was the leader of Cuba, overthrew the government of Batista, and installed a communist state in the Western Hemisphere. And it's his birthday today. He would be 98 today. 1967, the crime drama Bonnie and Clyde, starring Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway as the outlaw couple, opened in New York City, and it pioneered a new era of filmmaking, tearing down barriers in the depiction of violence and sexuality. 1995, New York Yankees baseball player Mickey Mantle died at the age of 63. Retired player. He wasn't on the team at 63. Of course, there was a controversy at the time because Mickey Mantle did not take care of himself. He drank. He did whatever the hell he wanted to. He was actually a great athlete. He would have been a much better athlete if he had taken care of himself. However, he got on the liver transplant list really, really fast. You know, some people are like, oh, I'm on the liver transplant list. Oh, I'm going to, wait, and then some compatible liver might be there for me. Well, Mickey Mantle he jumped right to the top of that list and got a liver on, June 8th of that year, and he was dead by August. So he was already in the latter stages. His body was never going to accept the liver. They transplanted it anyway, and he died. So they didn't really save his life very much. They just wasted a perfectly good liver. Anyway, that's the story of Mickey Mantle's liver. And again, I remember the time, it's like little children waiting for livers, can't get one, but Mickey Mantle's got one. Because he's famous. And that's, I guarantee, I can't prove it. Nobody can prove it.
$1 that you need to do it, right? So.
Right. And there's charities that, help. But the thing is, he was already so far gone, it didn't matter if he got a new liver. That's the thing. It was just too late. If he would have done something 5-6 years earlier, maybe, it's like, hey, Mickey, we saved your life. But he waited too long, and again, he never took care of himself. So what am I supposed to do about it? It's sad, but there you go. He died at 63. He didn't take care of himself. 2004, the games of the 28th Olympiad up in Athens, which had hosted the first modern summer games in 1896.
Happy anniversary.
In 2004, happy anniversary to the Athens Games. Was 120 years ago. In 2004, American cooking expert Julia Child died at the age of 91. She brought the art of French cooking to a vast number of Americans through her books and especially her programs on public television, where she became known for her humor and hearty voice. And of course, we found out later, she was a spy. She was an intelligence agent for the OSS, which is the precursor to the CIA. So she was actually one of the first American spies. in
Nice. Or maybe not so nice.
pretty sure
Depends what she did
China.
with her career, I guess.
Yeah. Now she became she had a perfect cover. She was a culinary student, learning how to cook. 2012, American writer and magazine editor Helen Gurley Brown, who's upbeat. A lot of people died in this day. She died in this day at the age of 90. She started Ms. Magazine, whose upbeat, stylish publication beginning in the mid-20th century emphasized sexual and career independence and an adventure for a large audience of young women. So a big feminist voice. Helen Gurley Brown died at the age of 90 on this day in 2012. Our featured event, 1521, the fall of the Aztec Empire. On this day in 1521, Spanish conquistador Herman Cortez captured Tenochtitlan, now Mexico City, after a 93-day siege, thereby ending the Aztec Empire and winning Mexico for the crown of Spain. So Cortez the Killer, as Neil Young infamously tagged him, Cortez the Killer. It's actually the name of the song, Cortez the Killer. Can't get away from that one. Sir Alfred Hitchcock was born on this day, August 13th, 1899. We could have done some Hitchcock video. He was born in London, England on this day, August 13th, 1899. Died in 1980 in Los Angeles at the age of 80 on April 29th. Other birthdays today. John Logie Baird, British inventor, born in 1888. Bert Lahr, American actor, 1895. Pretty sure he was the Cowardly Lion in the Wizard of Oz. I might be wrong. It's early. Forgive me if I am. Yes, he was the Cowardly Lion. You can tell just by looking at his face. So the Cowardly Lion was born today. All right. We also covered Alfred Hitchcock, who kind of looks like Cowardly Lion too. But the Cowardly Lion was born in 1895. We already covered Fidel Castro and Janet Yellen, American economist, who is current Treasury Secretary, born in 1946. And what day is it today? It's only two things. It's National Prosecco Day, which is a wine. So I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, I'm not a wine drinker. I'm not an alcohol drinker, for that matter. And it's National Filet Mignon Day. Yeah, that really tender piece of thick meat that usually they wrap it in a piece of bacon for some reason. Well, let's have some of that today. So those are your days for today, August 13th, 2024 on Before Filet Mignon. If you can pony up the dough for that, have at it.
Yeah. Well, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands, hoping you are having a good Tuesday, as it is Tuesday and this is the day you're supposed to have a good day, and I don't care what you say. That's the rules.
Have it.
We also don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified for tomorrow's episode of Whacking Weird Wednesday, where we're going to cover all the weird stuff that's been going on this week. And like this video if you enjoyed learning about all the crazy good news we've covered today. Here is our mic drop moment.
Well, everybody in my era, that was in the 30s, when you graduated from college, well, the women weren't supposed to do anything. There wasn't anything open for us. You could be a teacher or a nurse or a secretary, or you could be a salesperson at Lord & Taylor's or Saks or something like that. But I was going to be a great woman novelist, so I tried to get a job in the New Yorker and Newsweek, and I finally ended up doing public relations at W.J. Sloan's Furniture Company. But that was fun anyway. I liked that was better than being a sales girl.
Well, how do you get from public relations then to Wild Bill Donovan and the OSS?
Well, because then World War II came along. And in your generation, you don't realize that in mine, we were saving the world, so that everybody that I knew was in the Army or the Navy or down in Washington. So that's where I went, and I got into the OSS. But having no languages and no skills, I ended up in the files, and I stayed in the files all during the war. But at least I knew what was going on.
So you actually reported to did you report to Donovan?
I was in his private office for a while, always the files, and then I got an opportunity to go to what we called the fist squeezing unit, which was air sea rescue equipment. And then from there, I heard that they were planning to send people overseas. I knew that sometime I'd get over to France. Up to then, I'd only been in Tijuana.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.